can you tell me when Mac Dre became a super culturally important figure? Icon. Yes, because I sort of missed it, and then it was
so Mac Dre. Not to interject, I apologize.
No, please.
Just interpolate it.
Yeah, interpolate that real quick.
Mac Dre was already popular in the 90s. Him and Coolio the Underdog, they were rapping, and they would have California Living. He would blow up from that. He ended up getting into some legal troubles where he refused to tell on his team. That cost him 5-6 years in the federal penitentiary. When he came out of the federal penitentiary, dead rappers and prison rappers get a lot of attention. Unfortunately, that's the way that this culture works.
Yeah.
That you have to have some negative things around your name for people to care about you. When he came home, his mentality was, yo, I'm finna have some fun. I'm finna represent this bay. To me, the moment that he became a cultural icon is when he put out this DVD called Trill TV.
Okay.
Trill Television.
Trill?
Trill, like real.
Yeah, Trill, yeah.
Like too real. So
yeah.
Too real is Trill.
Yeah, Trill.
Well, that was Trill. Big shout out to Uncle Bun B.
I was about to say, it was Bun B Trill.
Shout out to Bun B Trill, my Uncle Bun. When they put out Trill TV had everybody like, oh, he a star. Like he had the diamond teeth, he had the Range Rover, he had the G-Wagon,
Mac Dre.
The Mac Dre. And nobody knew that he was doing this. Nobody was like, he became a star to us. It was like, oh, I want to be like that. He had the women.
How did he get all that?
Yeah, how did he get to that?
Stuff you talked about earlier?
Got it. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. Independent Messiah, man. He sold a lot of records.
Right. He's selling a lot of records.
Sold a lot of records,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing to watch how we became, like, people just fanned out when they saw him. Because now he was, at that time, of course we knew 40, we knew Short, and, we loved them, and we had nothing but love and respect for the pioneers that had already did it for the Bay. But to this culture and to this generation, he looked like us.
Right.
He wore the clothes that we wore, or we wanted to wear what he was wearing.
This is like 2000, 2001?
This is about 2002, 2003.
Got it. So when you think about it, just timeline-wise, it's like 11 years after he dropped his first record.
Right.
But in between, he went to jail. So he dropped his first record in 92.
Right.
That makes him a full 10 years, a full generation after Too Short.
A whole new reinvention,
right.
Though. Like, he comes out and he's rapping
nowhere near
different.
the person he was.
He's nowhere near that.
So it's almost like now 2 generations removed, because when he came out in 92, he was and now it's another 10 years, right. And he's a different version.
He's a whole different version. He's like a new character.
So there are probably some young people who don't even really remember how he was hitting in 92.
No, they don't.
They didn't know. They didn't even know. Okay.
They might think it's somebody. If they saw that, they'd probably think it was a different person.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
got
he's
it.
Created this whole new image, and we're just like, oh my God, like, this dude is a star. And that's when he became a cultural icon in our eyes. You know what I'm saying? And
then that's where hyphy comes from?
Hyphy is
it
in
Mac
that
Dre?
recipe. It's in that gumbo. It's Keek the Sneak. It's Keek the Sneak. It's Mac Dre. It's Something Terrible. It's East Oakland. It's West Oakland house parties. It's that. It's and that's the infancy stages. Then it goes nationwide. It's Federation.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, oh, okay.
Is there one producer who?
Rick Rock.
It's Rick Rock.
Rick Rock was producing Federation.
Got it.
But Mac Dre was doing his own beats. You had
right.
like Mac Dre, then you had the long forgotten hero that I love to always show love to is Sean T. Sean T is like the most underrated. Whenever they talk about dope producers, they never mention his name, but he has some big records in that time that kind of like catapulted the whole Bay Area
who did the
sound
Keek the
sonically.
Sneak? Like
Rick Rock did some of the Keek the Sneaks. Yeah, Rick Rock, Lev Burlack. It was a multitude of producers. It was a hella different.
But where
producers.
did this
The sound became in sequence when it became what tempo that you're making this beat at.
Right. So
And
101
at whatever
200.
tempo, what BPM that you were making it, and the content that was being talked about. And if you could say something like this, okay, then we're going to consider that hyphy. There were many songs that were just threw in the hyphy cylinder.
Hyphy just became that name of music that came out at that time. Anything from the Bay was like, oh, that's hyphy. It might
and it wasn't
not
always
be
like
technically hyphy.
Now, if you know what I think that we forget, that we overlook, that I can look at, Mac Dre brung every race together in the Bay Area.
Everybody.
So before before you wouldn't really know, but Mac Dre brung, you had every nationality was going dumb. Everybody was like, it was one Bay Area movement. Didn't matter if you was Filipino, white, Hispanic.
So it made it to the suburbs.
It was one party.
With Mac Dre.
One party.
Like there was no ethnicity and any of that meant nothing at that time for us because it was about a party. It was about us all coming together.
I missed that, man.
If Fab has a show, Fab's calling 10 different artists, and I'm gonna all let them do a song on my set. And we're all.
Well, what's the song they told you weren't allowed to do at clubs?
Kicked out the club. I couldn't do kick out the
They
club.
tell you don't do that song.
No, we'll shut this party down. If you
We'll kick you out the club if you do kick out the
if
club.
you do kick
And
out
not
the
get
club,
paid.
You will
we'll
be
shut
kicked
this
out.
party. It was in contracts. It was like, yo, you
can't do that.
can't do kicked out the club. If you do kicked out the club, we're shutting this down.
The sound will shut down.
We're closing it down.
Yeah.
So of course I did it.
Yeah, you had to. You had to. No, how big? Like how much did the city shut down when Mac Dre died? Was it like is there a way to describe that? Because
See, it's tough for you to say city because you have to remember it's like boroughs. So the Bay Area is still built like boroughs.
Right.
And in those boroughs, it's like Vallejo, Oakland, Richmond, Berkeley, San Jose, Fairfield. They're and it was impacted like everyone. San Francisco, it was just totally impacted. Mac Dre dying was like lugubrious. It was the worst feeling in the world. It was cloudy, just hurtful, harmful. Everybody's just like, wow.
and like the radio stations, everyone's talking about it all day, playing his music,
just over the Bay, and they just like and it was tough, man. The news talked about it. Everybody talked about it, man. So and that was 2004. So still to this day, and almost 20 years later, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
That just goes to show how impactful that was.
Do people have love for Drake for the reference on the motto?
It's always mixed emotions.
Right. Was it both? So some people are like, who are you to say that? And other people say, hey, thank you for keeping his name alive.
The Bay Area has always had that small town emotion where
there's so much stuff gets stolen from the Bay and they don't get credit. It's just
credit.
He might have been doing it with great intentions, but here go another one.
They're trying to steal from us.
Steal us our shit.
They're trying to steal from us.